Africa Online Media Corporation. You're welcome to the show. Please turn on your audio so that you can be live, so that you can talk and we hear you. So if you're on, please, the show is about to start. So Reverend Pam, Sister Sylvia, we're about to go. So please.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
You know, don't wait for me to start streaming. Go ahead.
Good afternoon and welcome to Africa Online Media Corporation live broadcast on this Sunday, the 24th day of November. We are often told that you are what you eat. This implies that you either gain or lose weight depending on what and how you eat. Does what you eat, quantity and quality, matter? With the holiday season approaching, Africa Online Media Corporation thinks that it is time to draw attention to our eating habits. How do our meals and our meal times, what do we eat and how do we eat what we eat and what we have to eat, and how does that impact us? How does it impact our waistline? That is the most important question there. What are some of the things we plan to eat during this festive season, and are those things weight friendly, or do we go for them just for the taste, the look, or the packaging? Are you an impulsive eater, or do you really plan what you eat? What should be the place of beverages like coffee, tea, and alcohol in what we eat or drink? The debate gate is now open, and I believe that we're all tuned in and ready to go. That said, let me now turn on to the editorial, which is ready for broadcast this afternoon. Hello and welcome to the broadcast of this 24th day of November. November 24 is actually the 328th day of the year 2019. That is on the Gregorian calendar. That means that we have just 37 days to go before 2019 is out of the way. Are you ready for 2020? Well, you have to learn how to write 2020. Okay, now, what is our topic? Our topic for this Sunday is health or healthy living and eating, how not to gain weight during the holidays. Yes, we all worried about our weights. We all worry about our waistline. So, did we say food? Did you ever try looking it up in, say, a dictionary? Or did you ever Google food, just F-O-O-D? What was your experience when you did? Well, I tried that the other night, not so much because I do not know what food means, but because I wanted to find out what people say about it. So what came back to me after 0.77 seconds was the number of entries about the word F-O-O-D, food, a whopping 16,360 million results. That is 16,360 million results. And Wikipedia, that free encyclopedia, tells us that food, that is a quote, is any substance consumed to provide nutritional support for an organism and is usually of plant or animal origin and contains essential nutrients such as carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, or minerals. Food is thus a tool of social import, bringing people together to eat, bringing people together to chat, bringing people together just simply to socialize. Seen in that light, therefore, the right to food is a human right derived from the International Covenant on Food, Social and Cultural Rights, and recognizes the right to an adequate standard of living, including adequate food, as well as the fundamental right to be free from hunger. But the question arises, should that human right, the right to eat, necessarily lead us to eat or ingest or consume so much that it becomes a health hazard? That is where our topic gets into the discussion. Healthy living and eating, how not to gain weight during the holidays. And the holidays are staring us in the face for those of us in the United States of America, beginning on Thursday with Thanksgiving, then stretching through Christmas and down to New Year. So eating right and living healthy has become a social requirement in most of the industries and in most of the communities, in most of the organizations. Yes, many employees require that you watch your weight. We hear of wellness campaigns and motivational speakers being invited to offices to give talks that encourage workers to eat right, watch their waistlines, and be more productive. Eating was ordained from creation, and through the ages, mankind has obeyed that command in Genesis chapter 1, verse 29. And God said, quote, "Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food," end of quote. In his time, Mark Twain said, quote, "Part of the secret of a success in life is to eat what you like and let the food fight it out inside." My understanding of that, I believe, is that he meant to advise us to eat the best way we could, but to remember that once in our bodies, the food works in a way to either heal us or to hurt us, depending on what is eaten. On her part, Virginia Woolf tells us, quote, "One cannot think well, love well, sleep well, if one is not dined well." So you cannot love well, you cannot live well, you cannot enjoy yourself well if you do not eat good food. But what does it all mean to eat well? That is the crux of our discussion. Does eat well, or should eating well mean stuffing oneself so much so that one can hardly breathe or one can hardly move around? Does or should eating well mean living to eat or eating to live? Oh, I remember primary school days. You are here to eat, you do not live to eat, you eat to live. Today, we hear talk of balanced eating. What does it all mean? As I see it, eating well means eating things that nourish us, eating things that sustain us, and eating things that supply our entire framework with such nutrients as will ensure that we are healthy and strong. Are you doing that? Are we doing that? Have we become such eaters that we no longer remember that if we don't eat the right stuff, we will be in trouble? That said, I think at this point, Reverend Pam, Sister Sylvia, our guest, I hope they will be on the line soon.
No, Dr. Tazong is on the line.
Dr. Tazong, okay. Good afternoon. Welcome to the broadcast. And here we go. Let us start the discussion. Reverend Pam, maybe you fire the first shot. Or I see Ms. Tazong, please, you can go ahead if you are ready. I know you are always ready anyway.
No, she's ready, but I will fire the first shot.
Okay, you go ahead.
Tazong, and of course, our sister Sylvia is part of the team anyway. Nia, so that's your co-anchor right there, Sister Sylvia.
Thank you.
In the media.
Yes.
Just someone who is trying to stream for Africans, you know. We have somebody, Tonga, whose video and audio are both muted. So you're welcome on the program. If you want to let us see your handsome or beautiful face, you can unmute your video. And when you are speaking, just unmute your audio. You can do *6. You know, I had to rush. I'm sorry, I barely just walked into the house. You know, I left church late, and our other guest, Dr. Najela, is still in church. So, Dr. Tazong, you can handle it, and you have a ever-ready Sister Sylvia here. Sister Sylvia is originally from Zambia, and there's no topic that she cannot weigh in.
Participate in, yes.
Yeah, so my first question is to Dr. Tazong. By the way, thank you so much for that plethora of information you posted on the forum. I mean, that was a whole encyclopedia. To be honest with you, I have not even read half of it. You know, but I am definitely going to visit it. You know, at Thanksgiving, I'm one of those people that love to cook, okay? I think it's because growing up, I cooked my first meal here in the US, so I'm kind of trying to make up.
Don't tell me, what were you doing between Cameroon and the United States?
I was following my dad everywhere. I was daddy's girl. The kitchen was not my thing. But anyway, I love to cook, and I'm going to be cooking up a storm, you know. And, by God's grace, I will share some videos, you know, before Thursday to help our viewers learn how to do turkey. You know, I think I'm going to be making one of those videos. But, you know, this holiday is coming. And some people tell you don't even try to diet during the holidays, starting from Thanksgiving through New Year. But that doesn't mean we should gain weight. And let me tell you what I'm going to be making for Thanksgiving. In addition to turkey, I'm going to be making banana cornbread, banana red velvet cake. I'm serious. I'm going to be making something I call Palm's Delight. It's dangerously delicious. It's a dessert. I call it Palm's Delight because I don't know what name to call it. You know, and I'm going to, of course, make ndole. Ndole, you know, Sister Sylvia happens to love ndole. But
yes, I do.
It has a lot of calories because of all the peanuts we put in there, and then on top of it, oil. But I know if you eat it by itself, it's not as bad as if you eat it with, anyway, the only fufu I eat is oat fufu. But Dr. Tazong, knowing the kind of food that we Africans cook, knowing that we use a lot of oil, by the way, I cook only with 2 kinds of oil, palm oil, and I don't bleach it, or extra virgin olive oil, but I don't use it on high temperature because I know it's not healthy. I put it at the end of when I turn off the flames. So knowing what is about to happen starting Thursday, what should we Africans keep in mind when we eat our ndolam? I think I'm going to be making timanambusa, kwakuko, and banga soup. Sister Sylvia, you've not had that. So what advice do you have?
Yes, I have.
Oh, she has. Wow.
What kind of advice do you have for our African people? Not just those who are here in the US or in the diaspora, but also on the continent about festive eating. I'm not talking about gluttony. You know, I'm just talking about, you know, what should we do? Keep in mind where we can still indulge in these foods that we love. You know, a lot of us ran away from Africa, but we carried Africa with us because we are still here importing food from Africa, going to grocery stores. So we really, you know, have not run away from Africa. So Dr. Tazong, please help us because some of us need help.
Okay. Good evening, and thank you so much for this opportunity. Can you hear me well?
Very well, 100%.
Okay, great. So I'm going to excuse myself first because my daughter actually has something in church this evening, and so I'm not going to be able to stay the whole time, but I'll try to give as much as I can before I have to leave.
Okay.
I know we're focusing a lot on weight, and it is very important, but I want to give a little bit of background to what I want to say. Weight is important, but what is even more important is the piping. I call it piping, your blood vessels.
Okay.
Because there are people that have the excellent weight, but they have horrible piping.
Yes.
And they found this thing out too during one of the world wars. There were all these young men who were healthy. I mean, think about military guys who have been well-trained, physically fit, and they went to fight. And when most of them died, they did autopsies and they already found plaque in their arteries. So the piping was not looking good. And that's when the US military decided that they were not only going to commit to physically training these men, but they were also going to try to feed them well. Because if the piping is not good, it gets in the way of everything. As we talked about, and as science and everything is slowly beginning to prove, everything is tied to your piping. Heart disease, diabetes, cholesterol issues, even Alzheimer's and so on, all of those things start with any kind of things that are happening with your blood vessels that is not good. And so while it is important to stay slim because it usually means that you're being careful about what you're eating, it is also very important to pay attention to what you're actually putting in your body. I don't think that the goal of life is to take away the joy of living. And there are many groups of people who live well and eat well without destroying themselves. And I think that's something that we have to start relearning in our culture. We love food. I love food. If I didn't love food, I probably would be a little slimmer than this. We love food, but food doesn't have to take control of our lives. So there's just one simple thing, and it took me a long time to just finally say this is the right thing to do. I knew it was, but it took me a long time to embrace it. And I found a lot of people struggling online too, and I said, you know, everybody has to get there when they're ready. So the whole thing with eating is that if you pick the right kinds of foods, you can eat well and not load up on calories. The whole thing about weight gain is about caloric balance. Nobody has time. I mean, some people do, but I personally hate counting calories. I hate micromanaging unnecessarily.
Yes.
And part of counting calories is micromanaging. But if you learn how to eat the right kinds of foods, you can eat them without worrying so much about the calories. So that's why it's really important to educate ourselves on different foods and know what their carbohydrate content is. Our grandparents, and I know that my grandparents, the three of them that I met, they lived to be over 100. They never did dieting. They never had any issues with holidays and so on. They just made it a daily habit to eat well, to stay active and to stay productive. And that's really what we should be striving for. People should not feel restricted, because maybe part of why we overindulge during the holidays is because we feel like we've been tied down all year. We need to learn how to eat right, because what happens to you today is not just because of what you did yesterday. It's a product of many, many habits that you've built over time.
Yes.
Weight gain is not a one-day thing. If you add that many calories in one day, you probably wouldn't gain that much weight. But if you're doing it habitually, eventually it will add up. I want to simplify something too. 1 pound is equal to 3,500 calories. So it takes 3,500 calories of food to gain 1 pound. I don't know. I think you can get away with eating.
From Whataburger or Burger King.
That's right. So
you will hit it.
A couple of that's the whole point. And so if you eat those kinds of things on a regular basis or pretty often, think about it this way. And every time I eat 3,500 calories, I'm adding 1 pound to my weight. So if you focus on eating plant-based, and I like the fact that Nia Song read this thing from the Bible, because I'm also a Christian, and I know that our bodies work best if we treat them the way God intended. And in the very beginning, we're supposed to be vegetarians. He only changed his mind after the flood when he said you can eat meat. But when God made man, he never mentioned meat. He talked about the plants, the seeds, and all those things. Now, this is not to impose on other people. But if you're trying to live ideally, that's what they're beginning to find. It's really tied to plants, because the key to good health is fiber. And fiber is the structure that you find in the cellular cell walls of plants. Fiber acts as a rate limiting effect on how our body deals with food. So it is bulky. Most of it doesn't get digested by our body, but it just stays there and controls, one, how easily our food can break down, our bodies can break down food. And it also stays bulky so that it holds onto some fluids, and it allows whatever is left as waste in our intestines to go out without too much drama. So fiber, I think about it as a delayed release type of it has a delayed release effect on food. Your body has to break down the cellular cell walls to extract nutrients. And in so doing, it has to go through a process. And that slows down the digestive process. It slows down the spikes in blood sugar. That's why when you eat a lot of plant-based whole foods, they still have a lot of their fiber and other nutrients in them. And so your body slowly breaks down stuff and takes out nutrients. That's why when you eat those kind of foods, you can stay all day and not even be hungry. And you also know that you don't have a lot of calories added in, because nature is wonderful. It has everything built in. It's almost like breast milk. If the mother is eating right, breast milk is just perfect for the baby in a certain age range, down to the temperature, right? So nature has a lot of things squared away for us. It's human beings who always have a penchant for trying to fine tune and messing things up. So I always suggest that when we want to talk about food, we should start thinking about what used to happen 1 or 2 generations behind us. People did not go to the gym. They did not work out. They did not do dieting. But I think if most of us can recall, most of our grandparents were slim, trim, and fit. And those people were active all the way to the end. I know most of my grandparents, until maybe like the last week of their lives, they were up and about. They may not have been as strong as they were in their 70s, but they were up and about. And that is a testament to what it really takes to live well. It's not a one-day thing. It's a lifetime commitment to staying active, including activity levels. Those people didn't go to the gym, but they stayed active. Just moving up and down, standing, squatting. Those are all range of motion exercises that keep your joints flexible. They keep you moving, and they keep you burning calories. So I want us to look at this weight thing. It's not just about food. Food is a very important part, but there's so many factors to it. There's sleep. Sleep affects how your body manages food. If you don't get enough sleep, your body you crave certain kinds of foods which are not good for you, and your body does not metabolize food very well. If you're stressed out, most people when they're stressed out, what do? They eat. When you're upset, you're angry, or you're frustrated, you grab something from the refrigerator, and it's usually not the healthy stuff.
That's me.
Yeah, I know how it is. So you grab the things that you shouldn't be eating. Stress is important to staying healthy. also healthy relationships, because relationships can either help bring more stress or relieve stress from your life. So you need to maintain good relationships. Use of substances. And I think this is going all back to lifestyle medicine, 6 areas where we focus: proper nutrition, physical activity levels, proper sleep, good relationships, stress management, and avoidance of risky substances. So I think what they're just doing is going back to what we had been doing in the past that has been lost in translation as we westernize. And I think it's also becoming more of a problem for us because westernization comes with excess. That's really the problem, affluenza. Because all the things that you mentioned, our grandparents used to eat them, but they used to eat them in small amounts. Their plates were normally loaded with a lot of vegetables and plant-based foods, and then meats and so on with condiments, even oil. They didn't have oil rolling all over the food, but as soon as we had access to more oil, what did we do? We poured more in the food. So I would submit that we have what it takes to do what we need to do. We just need to step up to it. We don't need to be afraid of the holidays. And I also want to let you know, a lot of people get sick around the holiday season because of overindulgence. I told myself at one point, I mean, it doesn't make any sense that you eat so much that you cannot breathe, you can't lie down, you can't relax. That is not good.
No, it's not.
Yes, and we have to get to that point individually where it doesn't make any more sense. We need to stop treating our bodies that way. Your body is the only house you have to live in. You need to take good care of it.
Good.
Very important. Now, at this point, Dr. Tazong, I know you want to take a breather. Sister Sylvia, I know you have been listening, and you certainly have your say on eating right, living well, and not getting those pounds.
Yes, thank you. I just want to acknowledge where it says Miracles iPhone. I'm not sure of the real name, but you're welcome to the program. And after Sister Sylvia, the airways will be yours if you want to weigh in. Go ahead, Sister Sylvia.
Thank you, Reverend Pam. Thank you, doctors on the line. As usual, it's always a pleasure to be on this show and to share with the world what we think and also to listen and learn from one another. With regards to food, I think the esteemed doctor is very correct. Portion control usually is the best, I would say the best medicine for anybody, for any of us to avoid gaining so much weight. Now, she mentioned our parents, our forefathers and so forth, for sure. Most of them kept their weight and their health as well because they ate from their own gardens.
Yeah.
In Africa, most of our grandparents either had a garden or had a gardener who did the work for them. 3 to 4 days out of the week, they would eat vegetables. They'll go to their own gardens, get their own vegetables, or even kill their own chicken that's running around in the street. It doesn't have any hormones in it. They'll kill a goat, they'll kill a pig, they'll kill a cow, no hormones. All those were hormone free. Now, all these free-range animals too have also a benefit to us. Unlike the meats and poultry and all the other food that we're eating that has been stashed with all these hormones to allow these animals to bulk up and become as fat as ever. And of course, we know as Africans, the fatter the meat, then the juicier it looks to us. So we'll be eating all those things that are laced, with all these hormones. So secondly, I also do agree. The exercise part is a very, very intricate part of our health. Okay, I want to speak. I don't exercise, okay? I was an athlete once upon a time in my past life. Right now, we're going to think about that in the dreams and just remember how we used to run, and we still call ourselves athletes. But anyway, I remember too, when we were younger, even in Africa, Reverend Pam and Doc over there, we used to run around a lot in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
You go sweep the yard, you go play with your friends, those stone games we used to play, or the bead games, or jump rope, or skip rope. I mean, there were so many activities that we used to do as youngsters. And as a matter of fact, anytime you were outside, by the time you came home, you were stinking of sweat or you were running sweat down your face. Number 2, mama would smack you because you come back home dirty, right? When we were playing, there was nothing of saying, I gotta stay clean. Okay, so my sister was a very clean, plain child, but me, I love my dirt. I love to wallow like a little pig in there. And then when I come back, I get my whipping, I go to sleep, and the following day I do the same thing. Now, coming to the United States of America, we find ourselves, yes, there are gyms there, but how many of us, honestly, how many of us diligently and dedicatedly go to the gym every day? You're paying your $10 a day or $15, $20 a month or whatever it is you're paying a month. It's still money that accumulates. Multiply that by 12 months and you see how much money you have been paying for the gym. we are always gung-ho. When you pay, oh yeah, there's a new gym, there's an Ivory gym, blah, blah, blah. Let's go, yeah, we go once, twice. Next day I have every excuse in the book why I can't go to the gym. Oh, I have this, oh, I have that, oh, I have this, I have that. But then the calories, my belly is always looking like I'm belly full. It's always growing and growing, but backside too is growing. Wait, doctor, let me ask you a question before I run my mouth. What have the growth of the boobs got to do with the food we intake? Because I notice my boobs grow too when you get fat.
Let me answer your question really quick, because I'm going to tie it in with something that you said, which was so true. So most of the tissue in the breast is fatty tissue. As you gain weight, your breasts are going to get bigger too. And when you lose weight, you're going to notice your breasts will be shrinking too. So yes, a lot of, if you just go online and put in structure of the anatomy of the human breast and look at it, when they dissect it, you have the nipple right there, you have the ducts that are going from it, and then most of the stuff that surrounds your breast is really fatty tissue.
Got you. Okay, thank you.
So that's why. And then another thing that you said, let me just support it real quick. You talked about the free-range animals. If you notice, as we are getting more obese, our animals are getting more obese too. It's not just the hormones. Everybody's getting lazier, even the animals. Those animals back at home, they're running around. Guess what? They're burning calories. They're burning fat. The animals at home, their skins are very lean. Those cows that are going from place to place, how many times do you see one of those guys who raise cows? How many times do you see an obese one of them? Never. People are always it works for the animals, it works for us. So I was just supporting your point, Sister Sylvia.
Thank you so much. So anyway, now that you've answered me, thank you so much. Now I can continue. Yes, I noticed that the boobs grow, but now I do understand that the growth of the boobs also.
What about the backside?
That too, because we store fat in different places. People store fat in different places. That's why you have the apple people and the pear people. The apple people store fat in their upper body, which is worse. The pear people store fat in the bottom part and the behinds. And as some people gain weight, you're going to see that blowing out the window. So it's part of the package.
Okay. So I need to watch myself. I may be blowing apple and pear both sides. Huh?
Oh, Lord. Oh, Jesus.
Well, I noticed, let me just put this in there. I noticed that girls who practice sports, especially running, have very small boobs, but the ones that don't have the bigger ones, are the apple ones or the purple ones.
Oh, Lord.
Pear.
Pear, okay. I don't know which one is which one. Okay.
Pear and apple. Yes, that is true. I was just also going to revert to when I was an athlete. I didn't have an atom of fat on my body too, just to go with you, doctor. But what I was trying to say is with us, like the doctor has also explained the bottom part and the backside, sure. The minute we start gaining weight, those are the two prominent areas that will show, and then the love handles too. They just have no shame. They just follow one line and they stay there and they don't go nowhere. Now, when we are looking at our animals, just like Doctor said, and she took the words out of my mouth, the animals that live in Europe and most of these westernized countries, for sure, they are always caged. Very few of them are outside where, like cows, usually, yes, they do give them that, and the horses, I believe, if I've seen some on the roads, they do have a little bit of a free range of walking back and forth, you see? But their food is still controlled by the farmer that's feeding them with hormones. Now, the ones back home don't have that. Maybe a few of them can throw in a piece here of hormone and a piece there, maybe, what do you call them, antibiotics, especially for the chickens. Sometimes they do that. So here for us as festive season comes on, we love sweets. I love sweets. I have a very sweet tooth. Now, I find myself eating, but for some reason, after I cook, I lose my appetite.
Not me. Not me. I enjoy my own food.
Good.
I enjoy anybody else's food.
I'll eat it later. I won't eat it right there and then. Right there and then, I'll probably have maybe, just because you have guests in the house. And of course, you have to share the meal. You just can't cook and say, okay, you eat alone and I'm sitting by myself. I do eat some. But the question I wanted to ask the doctor is, when somebody has a sweet tooth, what is the remedy for one to stop? Because I know that sugar is one of the biggest culprits that makes us, or at least helps us, or increases our weight gain.
You're absolutely right, because sugar is basically a bunch of useless calories. It tastes good in the mouth, and then that's the end of the story. After that, it's a disaster for your body. Not only does it make you gain weight, it drives inflammation in your body. And by the way, when you guys have time, there's this AARP publication for the month of November. I really liked it. It said we have, and I've known this for a while. I've been reading about it. We've had some conversations about it. It says one of the biggest drivers of health issues is inflammation. And a big part of inflammation is sugar. These simple sugars we're eating. When you eat them, they cause blood sugar spikes. They cause your insulin levels to go up. They drive inflammation crazy. So that's the first part. And then the second part is as you gain more weight, the fatty cells also cause your body to go into a pro-inflammatory state. So these things are not just benign. They are things that are actually driving your body crazy on a daily basis. So back to your question, the thing about sugar is that it's a cycle that needs to be broken. And one of the things that you may need to do is kind of go, when you swap out what you're eating into more plant-based nutrition, and you need to one that your desire for sugar significantly reduces, because the more sugar you eat, the more you desire it. Sugar is a drug, and that's something I always tell my patients. It is a drug because it treats your body exactly how other drugs treat your body. You have a craving. When you take it, you have a high, and then you crash, and then you crave more. And so you have to break that cycle. And the way to do it is to start diverting from those sugar sources. You want to start eating more natural sources of sugar, things like fruits and so on. But once you start eating more healthy and wholesome food, you're going to realize, one, that your craving for sugar significantly decreases. And then when you do get to eat sugar, you're not going to like it as much because you're going to notice the significant level of sweetness. So it's going to be something slow that you work on. You have to, first of all, start eating more wholesome. When you eat more wholesome, you don't have as much cravings. And when you eat more wholesome, after a while, you cannot handle sweet stuff. It really bothers you when you eat it.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you so much for that advice. Thank you.
Dr. Tazong, I have a question for you because
yes,
I want to add this for you. You have to go to church, but you know there are all these fake marketing ads. You know, I read everything. My dad used to read everything, even the bottle of water, labels on everything.
Yeah.
I never used to do that, but I started doing that. There's, you know, most people know that stevia is a healthy substitute, but there's so much fake stevia. There's pseudo stevia, there's stevia plus, all this stuff. I was talking to a relative and she was trying to argue with me. I told her, I said, that stuff you're taking is not stevia. It's sugar alcohol. It's erythritol. And I told her it's not healthy. And she was arguing. I said, have you looked at the label? She could not believe when she looked at the label to realize that, because they call it, I think, Splenda stevia. I said, no, Splenda is in there. It's erythritol. I said, there's a lot of all these things. I said, I said, even the one that says stevia in a raw, deceive me too. That thing is not pure stevia. It's not just the Ribena plant extract. It has dextran in there. I said, you have to take something that doesn't have any form of sugar, whether it's sugar, alcohol, or any combination. So I was telling her that the only one that I've come across, and I'm not a shareholder, I'm not trying to endorse their product, but I'm just saying the only one that I've come across is the sweet leaf stevia. That's the one that doesn't have any sugar, alcohol, or any sugar in it, you know. But I want you to weigh on these sweeteners, because a lot of our people get deceived. They just see a name. Everything is about packaging. You see what I'm saying? If somebody has a bad product and somebody has a good product, and the person with the bad product advertises it, packages it well, makes it more attractive, talks about it, and the person with the good product doesn't talk about it, then the person with the good product doesn't have any product. So a lot of our people are being deceived. I don't use sugar. The only time I even use sugar is when there's an event and I have to make something like puff puff or gâteau or something. But when I make puff puff at home, I use stevia. You know, so even pancakes, I use stevia. But I'm trying to stay away from those things, because that's another story, because my body actually rejects those things. But sometimes, because they're so addictive, we eat them, you know, and then like tiramisu, it's like tiramisu and I were siblings from another lifetime, because at my event in DC in March, that's all I ate. I ate tiramisu. I don't know how many I ate. I didn't eat anything else. I had tiramisu and red velvet cake, which was my favorite cake. So I had the combination. I had a whole bowl of tiramisu. That's how bad it was. You know, but the good thing is that, I mean, I was so busy, so I think I burned some of the calories. But I want you to address this sweeteners, sugar substitutes.
All right, ma'am. So it's really hard to talk about sugar substitutes, because one, what you really want to tell people is that we need to break this romantic relationship we have with sugar. First of all, most of those things that we're putting, our body doesn't recognize them.
Exactly.
Your body doesn't know what they are. And so they actually, I like to always think about things in literal terms. It's crazy because when they come into your body says, what is this? I mean, you know, and your body is trying to figure it out and your body is struggling. And so we really have to get to the place where we realize that sugar is not our friend. The sugar that is packaged in our natural foods is more than enough. And as we start making more of a commitment, some of the websites I gave you, and I'm going to try to send some more. There are a couple of people that really do a lot of cooking and they like their sugar, but they get it from the natural sources. Like if you're going to sweeten up the stuff, you may want to consider using maybe bananas, oranges. You want to use the sugars in the fruits and so on to sweeten your foods. And like the stevia thing, okay, stevia is a plant, but by the time they take the sugar out of the plant, it's no longer what it used to be.
Yeah.
And that's why the whole point about eating healthy is eating whole food, plant-based nutrition. We didn't say only plants because some people may never be able to do that, but you want to do plant-based. So the majority of what should be sitting on your plate should be whole and it should be plant-based. So another way we say it is eat as close to the ground as possible. Too much should not have happened between when that food left the ground and when it got into your plate. And it goes even with oil. Nature has controlled how much oil we get. It's true that oils come in different categories. There are those that are high quality, and there are those that are low quality. But the bottom line is that the oil has been taken out of its natural context. So it's no longer as healthy as it used to be, including olive oil. It's preferable to cook with the olive so that you get a little bit of that oil from the olive. Nature has already limited how much you're going to get from it, as opposed to getting the oil out of the olive. Once you get it, you've gotten rid of a bunch of the nutrients, a bunch of the things that come in the olive plant itself that have natural benefit for you. So if you are going to cook with peanuts, instead of adding oil, let the natural oil in the peanuts serve as the oil that is going to be in your food. Same thing with egusi and all those things. That's pumpkin seeds, because a lot of our people cook with those things and then they're still throwing in more oil. But a lot of oil is extracted from these plants. It's better off to use that plant and start learning to tone down our need for oil. And when you go to a lot of these plant-based whole grain or lifestyle management things, that's what they're pushing for, because that's why we have issues with not only with calories, but also with piping.
Yes. Well, okay, one last question before I hand over to Nia. So,
okay.
There is something that we need to talk about. We'll be doing our audience a disservice if we don't address this. I don't think this is such a problem on the continent as it is.
Hello?
Yeah,
Yes.
Can you hear me? Dr.
Dr.
Tazong?
Tazong?
Hello?
Yeah,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Hey, Doc.
We're hearing you. Dr. Tazong?
Hello?
Can you
Yeah,
hear
we're
me?
hearing you.
Hello?
Yeah,
We're hearing you.
I hear you.
Okay, I couldn't hear you. At some point, you just talked about, the last thing I heard about you was a disservice, and then that was it.
No, I said there's something we need to talk about, and it's
Yes, ma'am.
all this sugar-free stuff. The elephant in this sugar-free stuff is high fructose corn syrup, which appears in most, not 100%, but in most of the so-called sugar-free items, whether it's bread or whatever, or it's coffee cream or whatever. Please tell our people about this so-called sugar-free stuff and the danger that, and the reason why they can label it as sugar-free, because the FDA, you're supposed to have a certain
It's in cahoots with the people that make the foods. Let's just say it as it is. In cahoots.
It's Food and Drug cartel. But
yes.
Go ahead. Okay,
I always bring this up with people, and I tell them, I said, I was thinking about it. We don't have any food pyramid recommendations where we grew up, but our people ate well. The problem is that, there were a lot of, again, when you start having all these companies coming in and coming up with ideas, all of a sudden, the FDA has to give a guidance on how you eat. Our grandparents taught us how to eat. Our parents taught us how to eat. They knew what to do. They did not go to school. They did not get any guidance. They learned from their parents, because that's how you watch and you learn. You see, you learn. Yeah. So when we sit and we're completely dependent on the FDA and all these people to protect us, we are going to be in trouble. I'm not saying that we should not be pro-government. I mean, we know how it is not to have government. We come from places where the governments are horrible. But we also have to realize that the government is made up of people and they have their limitations. So I always believe that we should learn from precedents. Look at what is happening and what is working, and understand that that's a better option. Let me give you an example. Somebody doesn't have a child and they're telling me how to raise my child. I always have difficulty with that, because they don't understand the pain of raising a child.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, there are some things that if you don't have a child, you cannot understand.
Yes.
I don't care how good or how bad. And so a lot of times we are taking advice from people that don't really understand what they're telling us. I'm not anti anything, but I'm also saying that we need to use our common sense. We shouldn't just be following ideas that they have brought up that don't make any sense. So I would say that the other thing you need to understand when they say sugar-free, there are loopholes that allow people to put a certain percentage of stuff in there. And once it's below that certain percentage, they can say it's zero.
Yes.
But it's not completely zero. The other thing is that there are 3 things that enhance the flavor of food. Well, the current way we eat: salt, sugar, and fat. When they take out one, they load up on the other ones.
That's true.
So again, this goes, for me, when I think about it, it always takes me back to whole food, plant-based nutrition. That way, you know, people have not messed with the food. Once people start doing things to the food, they always pull stuff out and then they add other stuff in. You take food, you take out all the nutrients, and then you say you're enriching it. Why didn't you just leave the food the way it was?
Exactly.
So, Auntie Pam, I hope that answers your question. I know a lot of people want me to say, oh, you can eat. No, I don't want to go down that pathway, because I think that would be me participating in the deception. The truth is that we need to realize that this is not good, and we need to decide at what point we're tired of doing the wrong thing for ourselves.
No, Dr. Tazong. Yeah, Reverend Pam, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No. I just want to say she did. I just wanted us to touch on that high fructose corn syrup for people to know it's as dangerous as sugar, if not more, because at least sugar, when you see sugar, you know you are getting sugar. This one, they're telling you sugar-free, but you don't know how many people even knew about high fructose corn syrup, you know, as being such an inflammatory agent that appears in almost everything that you find in our pantry. But I'll let Nias or Sister Sylvia.
Yes, I was going to throw this question out there, not just to Dr. Tazong, but to all of us. I've heard so much about vegan. What is it all about? Is it really a way out of the problems that we're facing with eating and getting fat, or putting on the pounds upstairs and downstairs?
Upstairs and downstairs.
Yeah, so it's basically the, you know, everybody's never going to eat that way. We need to remember that human beings live in a bell curve. We always have people that are willing to go all the way out, and then we have most people kind of sit in the middle. But the one thing I want to push forward is that, depending on your situation, you need to decide how far you're willing to go. If you don't have heart disease and you're pretty healthy and you're pretty active, you can, you know, every so often play with some of the other things. But if you have active heart disease, you're getting stents, you're getting chest pains, it's time for you to give up a whole lot of stuff, and not give it up as in being not living life, but realizing I need to change course. This is not going to work for me. And when you read all the literature, you get all the feedback. All the people who, okay, let me give you an example. We all know Bill Clinton, which is why I'm giving him as an example. That guy has classic case of coronary artery disease.
Yes.
You know, but if we all remember, in the past couple of years, we've not heard anything about him getting any more stents, right?
Yeah.
Because Bill Clinton went vegan. He is being taken care of. One of the doctors that helps him with this thing is Dr. Dean Ornish, who is one of the people I recommended. And he's done a lot of studies. In fact, the only way to stop heart disease definitively and reverse it, and even people that have clogged arteries, is to go all the way vegan.
Wow, I see.
That's the only way. I have a lot of literature. Sorry?
I said stay away from animals.
Yes, because animal fat by nature, and I'm sorry that we don't have enough time. If you want to, we can actually pursue this topic next weekend, because I would like to even talk about how animal fat it propagates the development of diabetes and heart disease and all those things, because of the way animal fat is. Animal fats are different from plant fats, and that's why they affect us differently.
Just to answer your question, we would and Nia song. I think we should do a sequel. Based on because we need to. There's a lot of things we still need to address. Dr. Tazong, are you going to be available next Sunday?
I will make myself available next Sunday. I'm sorry that I have to run.
No, that's okay.
Yeah. But I want to show you something real quick.
Yes.
This is one of the books I give to a lot of my patients, and it's on one of those guides, the things I sent out. This is a quick start guide, the plant-based nutrition quick start guide. The other thing I always tell people, because I used to back away from telling people about eating more plant-based, but if you look at myplate.gov, right, that plate that they put on there, 75 to 80% of what should be on your plate is plant-based. We have fruits, vegetables, and whole grain. Whole grain means it has fiber, which is only found in plants. So that means that at least 3/4 of what is on your plate should be plant-based. The remaining 1/4, you can decide if you want to make it plant-based or animal-based, again, depending on your situation.
Okay,
so,
Dr. Tazong, before you leave,
yes,
we
ma'am.
want you to talk about your book before you leave. We want you to talk about the book. Yeah, I want to give you some airtime to talk about that book.
Okay, I'm so sorry that I'm in a hurry. I can't even give it all that is due today.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe we can do it in next show.
We can do it next week, because next week I'm not going to be rushing to go anywhere.
Okay, no problem.
Yes, but thank you for the opportunity, and I'm open to. I'm at home this week, so I'm probably going to be able to answer more questions online.
Okay, good. All right.
Thank you, Doctor.
Follow up next week too.
Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Okay.
We're going to do a sequel. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, Sister Sylvia, as Dr. Tazong leaves, Sister Sylvia, this question I think I should start from you. Then Reverend Pam will have her input. There is so much talk about the time to eat a meal, especially the evening meal or the dinner, as they call it. So, when is it best to eat your dinner? 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock? When is the best time to eat?
You know, I had spoken to, I think, about 2 or 3 doctors once upon a time when I really wanted to maintain my figure 8, you know. And the 3 doctors gave me three answers or 3 ranges. The first doctor told me, if you eat between 3 and 8, you're safe. The second doctor told me to eat between 4 and 7. They said I was safe. The next doctor told me to say, make sure you eat before or by 6 p.m.
3 different answers.
3 different answers, and they're all professionals. They're all doctors with medals and stars and everything else, you know, that goes with being a medical doctor. These were actually nutritionists that I spoke to, not medical doctors, but nutritionists. So
yes,
what I have found for myself as an individual, because my family, I come from a background with a lot of diabetes and high blood pressure. And unfortunately, it runs on both sides of my maternal and paternal side. So most of us have to be very cognizant with ourselves and, you know, trying to streamline what we eat or our intake of certain foods. So I find myself that if I eat after 8, my stomach is so heavy. I feel like a beach whale. I'm so lazy. I feel lethargic. I feel so, I'm just no good to anybody, even to myself. Even getting up to get the remote, it feels like the remote is 10 miles away. I just have to stretch. You understand?
Okay, yes.
But I eat between 6 and 7, top 7:15. I find myself very energetic thereafter. I want to do this. I want to clean before I do this. I want to do this. I don't want to leave the kitchen clean. I even put the remote far so that, you know, it gives me that energy to get up and go get it. So personally, for me, as a personal thing, I always want to eat between 6 and 7, 7:15. If I'm running late, like Reverend Pam today, I will, you know, push the food in before I come on the show. I'll eat something before I come on the show, so that, because naturally I'm not a junk food junkie. I don't eat I very rarely eat junk food. The most times I'll take a piece of candy or gum if I really have to junk. Push come to shove, if I'm traveling, maybe some peanuts, a handful of peanuts, which I also don't like too much. But my main meals are 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast is my favorite, but dinner between 6 and 7. Like I said, if I have to push it, 7:15.
Okay, Reverend Pam.
Yes, you know, it's amazing because I have helped more than 500 patients lose weight in the past, you know, and I know what needs to be done, but I don't do it, you know. I don't, you know. I used to be, well, they used to call me mannequin. So in this country, it's easy to gain weight. If anybody ever told me that I could put on weight, I used to be disgusted by fat. So I sometimes like, okay, well, maybe, you know, it's good that I gain weight so I know how it feels, you know. I mean, I'm not, well, if you look at me physically, I'm not obese, but the scale and my BMI, you know, says that I am. But the thing is, again, you know what to do, so why do we keep doing the wrong thing? You have a tragedy in your life, and then you go downhill, you start doing what they call comfort eating. And my body, you know, in 1 Corinthians 6:19, it says our body is a temple of the Holy Ghost. You know, we have to take care of it. And we need to listen to our bodies, because our bodies will complain. If I hit 200 pounds, my body starts complaining. My feet cannot carry it. My body starts complaining. So I know I have to do something. So I'm glad I even have that mechanism in my body that tells me, hey, you've crossed the red line. But the thing is, I think it all goes in the mind. You know, it starts right here in the mind. We need to make a decision that we're not going to eat the croissant. There's a restaurant here in Houston called Cheddar's. Their croissant is from out of this planet. And then on top of that, they put hot butter on it. So I don't go there anymore. I don't. You know, we need to avoid things like, I'm serious. Yeah. And again, when I make chin chin or make me or donut, I mean, you know, anything flour, you know, just call me queen of flour, anything. But I avoid making them so that way I don't have them at home. Believe it or not, I used to always have cake, homemade cake from scratch, not using mix. I don't believe in using mix. Making everything from scratch. I used to have all those things in the house. I was 125 pounds. That was never an issue. I ate it. But when your body starts telling you, hey, look, you cannot carry this weight, you need to listen. You cannot keep having those things. But I'm going to tell you, all of you right now, there's no way I'm not going to eat cornbread on Thanksgiving Day. There's just no way. I'm going to eat it. But the only thing that I need to do is that I need to dance on that day so that I can at least burn some of the calories. Some of you have seen my cornbread video, workout video on Africa Online videos. Some people say I need to send it to you. It's on our Facebook page. It is hilarious. It was not scripted.
Planned, yeah.
On Thanksgiving Day, I had just eaten so much and I switched into my kaba, a loose outfit, and I said my body started complaining, and I just got up and I said, cornbread out. Ribs. I just started walking out and dancing, and everybody just started laughing about the video. So again, we have to take care of ourselves, because that's us poisoning ourselves. Nobody's putting a gun to our head that we should eat. We are the ones eating it. And what I'm doing now is not buying those things that could be tempting in the house. If you search my fridge, you will not see any bread. Because love bread, but you will not see it. Over to you, Nielsen.
This is Africa Online Media Corporation broadcast, and we're talking about eating healthy and losing weight, especially during the holidays that are coming. Now, there is one other aspect of eating well, and it is related to sleep. When should you eat? I mean, when you eat, when do you go to bed? How long? Doctors tell you to go to bed after a certain amount of hours after eating. But some of us, like those of us in the metro area here in Washington, D.C., we party a lot, we eat a lot during those parties, and we come home, and of course, the next thing is to go to bed. So what is good? Should we eat like Sister Sylvia before 7 o'clock, and then dance it out, and then come home and sleep? Or what should we do? Because in this area, especially here in the diaspora, many of us are party goers, and we eat late and we do all those things.
Exactly. Yes. I was going to say that. Sister Sylvia, just before you jump in, I just want to say, you know, recommended is 3 hours before bedtime.
Okay.
Not to eat within 3 hours before bedtime. However, like you say, Africans, they go out a lot, eat wakekeeping or parties. People are eating heavily at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, and sometimes they don't dance. But I'll let Sister Sylvia weigh in before we go to the top of the hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Clear your throat.
Yeah, I was trying to clear my throat. I'm sorry.
Your video is not
right.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I accidentally turned it. I was trying to put the phone down. I was coughing. I was trying to mute instead of.
Do you need to drink? You need a sip of water?
No, I just did.
Okay.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is, like you rightly said, when we are younger, we have a lot of energy, and we tend to want to hang out and dance a lot. When you eat after a certain time of the day or the certain time of the night, like Reverend Pam said, 3 hours before you sleep. Now, supposing I eat at 11 p.m. So if I eat at 11, 12, then I go to bed at 2, right?
Yes.
Now, if I go to bed at 2, I believe the REM sleep that they talk about is recommended between 9 and 3 a.m. Is that correct?
Exactly. So you are taking away from your REM sleep, yes.
Exactly. Yes.
Rapid eye movement, yes.
Yes. So that rapid eye movement too is very, very important. I believe the esteemed doctor also mentioned that, to say sleep for the body is a dominant thing in keeping yourself healthy, as well as keeping the obesity off, or the weight off. The weight off. So for sure, the doctors or the academicians have given us parameters in which to work with. But each individual's body, like you rightly said, Reverend Pam, the body speaks to you. Yes. You hit that threshold of 200, you start feeling even just getting up from a chair, you need a cane to help you up. You need a crane behind you to come and lift you up to say, now get up and do this. Walking from point A to point B, you are tired. So I feel if I eat around 7, right? This is what for me as Sylvia that I put myself on. If I'm hungry between 7 and 11 when I go to sleep, I always have a fruit. Now, the reason I have a fruit is, like I said, I have that sugar craving all the time. I love to eat sweets, but I don't like cakes and all those things and donuts, but I just like, candy and gum and things like that. Now, even every little piece of that, of course, adds up. So I would suggest to those of us who are late sleepers, I know I'm a night person, I'm a night owl. Eat around 7, 8, maximum 8:30, so that by 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, you're in bed. You also now maximize on your REM sleep so that your body, your mind, your soul, and your spirit are at rest. Because if any of those that I mentioned are disheveled, believe me, your day is never right. Because I notice for myself, if you wake me up in the morning on a start without me realizing I have to wake up that early, my whole day is messed up. I literally feel the food in my stomach from yesterday, from last night, because I have not rested and I don't think the food has had enough time to digest in my stomach or in my body. And then you find that I'm very moody, I'm grumpy, I'm lazy, and everything about me is just not right. I'm yelling and screaming at kids for no reason, and I'm nasty to people. Your body tells you, or your body teaches you how to handle it. So eat right, eat in good time, so that you give that food a time to digest. Now, those of us who indulge in bedmatics, okay? Yeah, if you eat late and you have a partner to indulge in bedmatics, it might help you. But what about those that don't have a partner to indulge in bedmatics? That means that food will make you feel like a beach whale until the following morning or the following day.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
Well, that said, and we're getting up to the top of the hour, we'll give the microphone to Reverend Pam so that she has her say and then connects with the announcements at the top of the hour. Sister Sylvia, don't go away. Have a sip of water and rejoin us at the top of the hour. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's just a few seconds to the top of the hour. After the announcements, I want us to address the issue of drinks, especially sodas.
Yes.
Sodas are a culprit. Sodas, I don't care if it's diet soda or whatever soda, that's one of the fastest way to poison your bodies. I don't want to call any particular brand because I'm not trying to come after or go after any particular company, but sodas is one culprit. I know somebody that lost more than 100 pounds just cutting off sodas from their diet and their life completely. They had gained the weight from drinking sodas, a lot of sodas. Sodas are dangerous. I think I haven't done any review or any research on this, but I think a can of soda, can contain up to about 300 teaspoons of sugar. Don't quote me on that. Again, I'm putting a disclaimer. It's not something that I've looked up or anything, but I think that's what is in there. But we're at the top of the hour, and as those of you who are listening to this show or following us live on Facebook, Dr. Tazong requested that we should continue this topic next week. So we're going to do a sequel, and since Thanksgiving is next week, we're going to tie it in with Thanksgiving. So we're talking about maybe Thanksgiving meals, Thanksgiving menu, and also the spirit of Thanksgiving or giving thanks, and how we tie it to our eating habits and and to avoid obesity. So that's what we're going to be talking about, tying in this festive season to eating. That's what we're going to be talking about, giving thanks and eating and how to eat, because there's a lot of stuff that needed to be addressed, which even though throughout the week, Dr. Tazong shared a lot of stuff on the WhatsApp group, and Dr. Najila Nuk and I also did the same. But our listeners who are not on the WhatsApp group are not privy to that information. Maybe we will share some of it on our Facebook page, but then again, we also need volunteers to do that. We need our IT department needs volunteers. So once we have volunteers, they can share all that information from our WhatsApp to our Facebook page, so that all our viewers, all 3,000 of them on Facebook can listen to it. And those who are going to be getting these videos is more than 3,000, because the streaming goes live throughout all over the globe.
Yes.
But again, sodas and juices are also loaded with sugars. That's what people don't understand. Okay, I don't know if anybody who can sit in one sitting and eat a bag of oranges, but there are people that can sit and drink a whole jug of orange juice, or at least half. It takes several oranges to make the juice, so it's better for you to eat the fruit than to drink the juice. I don't care if it's from concentrate or it's pure juice. It's loaded with sugar, fructose, sugar from fruits. And those excess sugars also get converted to glycogen and fat. So don't be fooled. A lot of people think a glass of orange juice in the morning is a healthy breakfast. It's not. There are a lot of doctors out there who are attacking orange juice now. I know in the hospital, they use orange juice and apple juice to bring blood sugar up. That should tell you something. If somebody is hypoglycemic, you know, some people give glucose tablets, but most of the time they'll give apple juice or orange juice to bring up the sugar. That should tell you how loaded the apple juice or the orange juice is with sugar. Bring up your blood sugar. Over to you, Nia-san.
Yes, but talking about sugars, I mean, fruits, are they not natural if they are squeezed and you drink the juice? Is that not the same? Is that not better than the one, the Florida juice or whatever other juice that you may be having? I thought that every juice, all the juices, I thought they were natural.
No, there might be, no, there are some that are concentrate, but there are some that are pure, that nothing is added to it. But what I'm saying is that the fruit is healthier than the juice. First of all, if you are eating orange, there's a membrane there. You can eat the membrane. You know, it's better than just the juice that has been squeezed out and the membrane is being thrown away. Yeah. The amount of juice, the sugar that you're going to get from a glass of orange juice is way, way more than the amount of sugar that you're going to get from eating 1 orange, 2 orange, 3 oranges, or 4 oranges. So it's better for you to eat the fruit, to eat the apple than to drink the apple juice. To eat the grapefruit than to drink the grapefruit juice. Grapefruit happen to be one of those what they call thermic fruits. It means that they burn more calories than they contain. And we're going to talk about thermic vegetables too. But no, the fruit is better than the juice. Sister Sylvia.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I tend to agree with you on that one because if we notice some of us who have grandchildren, maybe even children of young ages today, when you give them juice, they become extra hyper.
Yes.
They even are more hyper than if you give them a piece of candy. And then you start asking the children, why are they jumping, you know, off the walls? Yes, for sure. I just discovered a fruit called a persimmon. I don't know if you're familiar with it, Reverend Pam.
Oh, I eat it. It's oriental. The Asian markets have it.
Yeah.
It tastes like mango. Yeah.
I love that fruit. I tell you, I had to research and read about it to make sure that I wasn't overindulging myself. But to my delight and surprise, I find that it's a very, very, very good fruit for the body. And guess what? It's been curbing my sugar appetite too.
Good.
Anytime I feel like I want to eat candy or I want to eat, you know, something sweet, I quickly run. And you know what? I can never eat 2. I always have to eat 3 and 4 and 5 and maybe even 6 nonstop. So
it's a very good fruit. It tastes like mango.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. So I would recommend that. I think each individual, per your body requirements or per your body cravings and needs, each one of us, I'm sure, can find a fruit if you're a sugar craver like me.
Yes.
I just discovered my persimmon, and I'm looking forward to having my figure 8 Reverend Pam next year.
There you go.
I'm hoping.
There you go, because the event is coming up in September. So
can you imagine? So I really have to now start watching myself and making sure that, you know, I don't drink these juices. And as well as parents, I think my advice to us as mothers and fathers and grandmothers and grandpas, I think it's also imperative that we start watching what we feed our children.
Yes.
We are, some of us mothers and fathers, grandmas, whatever, parents, we are lazy. It's always mac and cheese every day, mac and cheese and spaghetti and macaroni, this. But where is the vegetable in our children's meals? I just discovered cauliflower French fries the other day. To my delight and surprise, my grandbabies were very excited. They were asking me, these are different fries. And me and the mom looked at each other and said, we got you. So now when I go to Costco, I don't care how much I spend on food for them, it's the cauliflower French fries, because they are literally asking for them to say they love them because they don't know it's cauliflower that is inside them.
No, you know something? I have not come across the cauliflower French fries, but let me tell you, cauliflower is being used to replace, there's the rice cauliflower, the Oprah uses it for her pizza. And let me tell you what I like. There's a restaurant, a Lebanese, a Mediterranean restaurant here in Houston called Demasis. They fry the cauliflower. It is so good, even though they do it with a lot of oil. But let me tell you, I have organic cauliflower in my fridge. Guess what I'm going to do with it? I'm going to make pap. I don't know if you guys have pap in Zambia.
Yes, we do.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to steam it with almond milk. I'll sweeten it with stevia and of course pepper. I put pepper. I love pepper, and I'm going to eat it with. I drink it like pap. That's how I'm going to eat it. The cauliflower. It will look like pap. It will taste better without the carbohydrates. So cauliflower it's being incorporated in a lot of dishes. A lot of people are using it to replace carbs, even rice. So yeah. I'm excited about that French fry thing. You say it's a
I'll take a picture of it for you and I'll share it with you.
No, I'm having family over. I'm gonna get some for my nieces and nephews.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing that. Cauliflower fries.
I just made, I've never loved cauliflower. I've never liked cauliflower. When these grandchildren said they like these cauliflower fries, I went to the store and I bought me a cauliflower. You know why I've never eaten cauliflower? Once upon a time, I was looking, all this nonsense we send each other on the internet, back and forth, back and forth. Somebody sent me a picture of the cauliflower and it was held like that on the back. Imagine you looking at the back of the cauliflower. And there was a snake coiled inside.
Oh, no.
So that just, it gave me the heebie-jeebies to it. Every time I look at cauliflower. Yeah, that's the first thing I would think.
And some of those things might be fake. They might not even be true.
And that is so very true. Yes, but I'm just saying, for me, it became a phobia, and I would look at.
Yes.
Yes. But
yeah, so
what you're saying is it true? Because somebody sent me a picture of a snake in a toilet. Let me tell you today, I don't sit on a toilet without examining a toilet.
I do that
very
too.
Important. Very important.
And I don't leave my toilet seats up. I close it.
Yeah.
Just because from that was like a couple of years ago.
That is correct. Yeah. So I went and I bought cauliflower 2 days ago, and I concocted my own recipe. Believe it or not, now I'm a cauliflower freak. Everything for me is cauliflower. This cauliflower, that.
They have the orange version. They have a purple version. Then they have the white one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Talking about fruits, my favorite is banana. How good or bad is a banana in the morning or during the day? Should we eat bananas as much as we would love to? Back home, we used to eat a lot of them anyway. The ripe ones, though.
Banana was my dad's favorite fruit too. I will not say I don't eat banana that much, but let me tell you a secret. Eat a banana with avocado, and your life will never be the same again. It is the best combination ever.
Wow, I learned something.
Wait, Dr. Pam, wait a minute. Slow down now. I need to get this right.
Ripe banana and avocado.
How do you make you blend them?
No, don't blend it. Just
bite it.
Slice the avocado, and you can actually do it on a plate. It will look sexy. The combination. slice the banana diagonally, slice the avocado. Just make a food presentation is something I like to do too. So just make it attractive and just eat the. Think about it. People in Africa we eat fried plantains with avocado, right? With pears.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. It makes sense. Banana is a cousin to a plantain. I am telling you, I just add avocado there, and you'll be thanking me on this show next Sunday.
Okay. I bought bananas today. I have to go look for the avocado now. After the program.
I want to say something. I usually just eat bananas unless I want to eat avocado. I use it in flavoring in baking. I use banana to
okay.
But eat it in moderation because ripe bananas is sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar.
So eat at least one a week, not a day.
Okay, that's it. So just eat it in moderation.
Yes.
Yeah, and Dr. Pam, have you heard of this new air dry fryer that they talk about?
I have it. I've owned one for 2 years. Let me tell you something.
It is delicious.
I was gonna tell you that French fry, make it in the air fryer.
That's what That's where we put it.
I use the air fryer, you know, and believe me, it tastes. Even when I do chicken there, it tastes better than chicken that was fried in oil. I do fish there. You can actually bake in there. I actually roast ripe plantains in it, you know, because in Cameroon we have a dish. I don't know where the origin is, but they use roasted plantain with palm oil and pepper. It is so delicious. So I make it in the air fryer. Yes. The air fryer, I will endorse it. I'm not mentioning any brand, but I do own it. I've owned one for 2 years.
Well, Reverend Pam, you may want to post a picture of that for our listeners, for our watchers, for our people, so that they may not know what it is, but if they see it,
they can Google it, because, you know, there's something called in commercial, I think it's a product labeling or something.
Yes. Advertising without their permission.
Okay, okay, all right.
And not even that, you know, these people need to pay me to advertise their business.
They won't do it.
They need to make
I can't even share my cauliflower fries on this forum either, then, right?
They need to sponsor the show. So if they're going to sponsor the show, Africa Online has bills to pay. If they're going to sponsor the show, we will showcase their brand.
That's right.
Sylvia, you know, everybody get us some sponsors for this show.
That's right.
By God's grace.
Talking about eating well, losing weight, but how come food and weight are so related? I mean, why in the modern age? I know that we would say that we blame ourselves because, like for us in the diaspora, we do everything in the car. We no longer walk. We no longer exercise.
Yes.
So I think some of those things are taking a toll on us. But then for the man in Africa, I went to Cameroon in 2015, and I found fat people where there were none. I found people with weight who had put on weight where there were none in my days. So what is happening?
There's been a transference. There's what I call a transference. You know how when you're back home in Africa, anything that is foreign is good. You know that.
So unfortunately,
if you go to ShopRite today, and unfortunately I have to use that word. It's very dominant. And I know Reverend Pam says no advertising, but I'm just using it for an illustration's sake. Because ShopRite is in almost every African country that I know, that I have been to. I'm not sure whether all the 54 African countries house ShopRite, but the ones that I've been to do have ShopRite. The minute I go to ShopRite, they do have a section for African goods, so to speak, right? But very rarely will you find us, the owners of the products, buying those things. You find the white people are buying our product. We all gravitate and run to the balonies and the cut this and the this, that, and that, the does and all. So you find that all of them now want to be so westernized in what they eat. We are forgetting about our own healthy, sweet, delicious cassava, fufu, and all that stuff.
Exactly.
So when they buy that stuff now, if it's either one, they know how to prepare it, or two, they don't, and they have to read on the back of the package, you know, to see the instructions of how to cook that thing. Now, like Reverend Pam said, we indulge ourselves in so much oil. Mm-hmm. We don't take note of which oil we are cooking with. So long as in Africa, as long as it's oil, you pour it. The more oil you have, the sweeter your food. So we are looking at ourselves also to blame as let's call ourselves international travelers. When we go home, what's the first thing you do? You want to buy foreign things for me, even your own foods. I do take foods with me when I go home. I'm not gonna lie about that. There's some certain things, certain foods that I can't do without, that I know that if I go there, it's either a problem or they're not there. So I'll pack those things. Now, do you honestly think that when I go there, whatever juicy, delicious foods I brought here, I'm gonna eat by myself? No, I will share even with the family. Then the next thing is I'll be sending them drums of the same, whatever food that, you know, that we have been getting from here. Now, some of our people back home, there's a drink in Zambia called kachasu. I think in Nigeria they call it kai kai. These
palm wine.
It's in Cameroon too.
No,
there's not palm wine. It's a fabrication.
What is kai kai?
It's home fabricated some drink.
It's a drink that's made of maize corn, you know, fermented maize corn, and it's a very, very thick drink.
Reverend Pam, when you go to Cameroon and you are in Victoria, go to Down Beach and ask for mbu. It's not mbu, actually. It is something similar, but it's different. It's very, very alcoholic. It is highly inflammatory.
Reverend Pam will not be asking for it. Sister Sylvia, go on.
No. I don't want for you to know what it is. not to drink.
So that's drink, right?
Yes.
Like in the southern part of Zambia, let me talk about the SADC nations. This is where I saw this drink because it's part of our heritage. And I've noticed that most of our people, especially our parents, even us now, our generation, we drink a lot of that stuff. It is so thick. Imagine pap, Reverend Pam. Imagine pap, but the pap that you make is very smooth to the taste.
Yes.
Imagine if you pounded maize, right? And then the maize was not very fine. And then you have to chew.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's kwacha.
That's right. That's kwacha. That's
I know it. My aunt used to sell it in
That's kwacha, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now what they have done now is they've made the kwacha in two variations. There's an non-alcoholic kwacha, which is flavored by strawberry, chocolate, vanilla. Can you imagine? They have flavored them now. So our children can drink all that fatty, whatever that is in there. Then those of us who go to this country, roadside bars, that's the cheapest alcoholic drink you can drink. So imagine they buy them in buckets. A person will finish one bucket of that kwacha.
Oh my God.
Now, can you imagine how heavy that is on the belly? They haven't eaten anything all day. And then they're going home and they go and sleep on that kwacha. First thing in the morning, they want to eat fufu. Very heavy fufu. Or jima, or whatever it is. And again, the thing begins. So it's becoming a vicious circle for our people because one, they don't have jobs, or two, we are retired now and we have nothing. We don't go to work. We don't walk to the bus stop. We don't go to the market. We don't walk to go to the farm anymore because most of us have left the farm area. We're in the cities.
We don't walk, yeah. That's true.
And I'm also guilty of that. I don't walk that much, but I'm just saying even the people back home, it's the same thing.
Oh, okay, we have Miracle back. Miracle, can you hear us? We have Miracle's phone. I'm not quite sure. It's showing us.
Let the person turn on their video. I mean, their audio.
Their audio is on. Their audio is on.
Okay. Let them speak up so we can hear them.
Keep going in and out. I'm not sure if they're having technical difficulty, but I want to say something. Sister Sylvia, when I go home, I don't carry any food from here. Let me tell you what I eat when I get to either Nigeria or Cameroon. First thing I want to eat is akra, beans. It's fried. They call it
in oil anyway. In oil.
In northern Nigeria, kose. My grandmother was Hausa, a beautiful Fulani woman. That was her food. That's what I want to eat. I can eat so much of that with pepper, with hot pepper. They eat it with pap, but I really like it by itself. Then I want to eat moi moi also, which is made with beans.
I love moi moi.
Yeah. Moi moi is thin. Those are the things that I miss from home. So I eat food from home. And then the freshly squeezed juices. My village, Bali, the weather is so beautiful. We have a lot of fruits there. So I when I go home, I don't carry any food. But what you just said about that kaikai or kwacha, whatever, I remember when I was about 8 years old, my aunt used to sell it with corn chaff. And these people would eat that thing in the morning before they go to work. They drink that thing before they go to work. Yeah. And maybe now I'm understanding that's why she made corn chaff with it. I had an aunt that, I used to spend holidays with her in Boya. And that place was always full. That place was I know what you're talking about. When you said they pounded the maize.
Yes, that's when it rang a bell.
The lights went up in my head that this is what they call kwacha in Boya.
Yeah, that's right.
In Zambia, they call it chibuku. That's the fermented one. And the one that is not fermented is called maheu. It's the same thing, but once the maheu is flavored. Yes, strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla flavor to entice the young ones to drink that same drink. But if you leave the same maheu out for a few days without refrigerating it, it turns into the other one. It can also become alcoholic. Because
let me ask you a question. Are you going to be sending us your Thanksgiving video of your Thanksgiving meal?
I'm not the one.
We're going to be sharing a Thanksgiving recipe. So we'll need it before Thursday so that we can share it on the forum.
Yes.
You want a Thanksgiving recipe for what type of food?
No, turkey. We're just going to be showing people how. I'm going to be sharing mine.
Different ways of preparing the turkey.
I'm going to be making 3 different kinds. I'll be making Jack Plus turkey. I said Jack Plus because I'm adding some other things.
That's what I make too, is my jerk turkey. That's what I make.
Okay, you'll be making Jack turkey. I will be making Jack Plus because I add a couple. I'm going to say what I add. I add fresh basil, organic basil, and organic celery to eat. It just takes it to another level, Sister Sylvia.
I'm sure it does. Yeah, I'm not the one cooking this year. I'm going to my young brother's house. I'm not the one cooking.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All that being said, we have Thanksgiving, we have Christmas, we have New Year. Between these three holidays, what is the best that one can do to not overeat at either of them? Because the food is there, the food is tasty, the company is good, and you want to satisfy everybody by not shying away from not eating their cooked food, especially those of us men who don't cook but like to eat.
Okay, go ahead, Sister.
I want to pretend to have a stomachache and force myself to sleep while everybody eats.
Don't do that. They need your company during the eating.
Exactly. And we're putting up the Christmas tree on Thanksgiving Day. But you know, drink a bottle of water before you start eating.
Yes.
Your stomach will be full.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah,
that is so.
Drink a bottle of water. That way there won't be enough room.
That's true.
I have a weakness though. Even though I'm talking about it, when I see a lot of food, I don't know what to eat anymore. I don't know how to eat anymore. So that's my weakness. So, but I always taste a bit of each thing when I have the opportunity.
And your stomach start wandering. All these soft foreigners that are in my stomach. You have Russia there. You have Ukraine. You have China. You have France, of course.
Yes.
Let me just change the topic.
Yes, okay. But I have no bribery. I have no, what do you call it again? Don't worry about that. All the same, talking about eating and being healthy. I learned it used to happen, people would eat and then want to go for a walk. I know when I was in Victoria, in Bota, especially when we had those CDC workers, they were civilized. They were people who had been brainwashed by the British to take a walk after after dinner or after lunch. Is that recommended? Should you take a walk after eating?
To be honest with you, I think you should walk before, because when you exercise, your metabolism is active and it stays active at least 2 hours. So when you are eating, it burns the calories. You know, I don't know about walking after you eat, but I don't know if it will hurt you or not. That's not my area. I'm not an expert in that. But it's better to do something than eat and just sit, because it's better what you eat. If you load up, you know, like after this show, I'm going to be eating okra soup.
Do you have to say that? You could have just said you're going to eat food, you know?
Yes, I have.
My take on that is, I come from a background where we believe in taking a siesta after you eat.
Oh, Lord, that's French people.
That's the French in Cameroon.
Siesta.
You know, when we were growing up, Mama would always say, after you eat, take a nap, and we grew up like that. And then I came here too, and I've noticed that even our Spanish brothers and sisters say the same thing, that they take a siesta after they eat. Now, I don't know about walking after I eat, because I think it would make me nauseous, because I just came from eating a scrumptious meal. I start walking out there and my stomach will be turning, and while I'm running or exercising, it just doesn't make sense to me like that. Maybe after hours.
Yes. Well, the other thing is taking coffee or tea after dinner. This was typically British. I grew up in West Cameroon. So there was always this habit of after dinner, you go for tea. Drink tea or coffee.
Yeah, I still do.
Coffee, because caffeinated coffee will keep you up at night.
I still drink my tea.
I drink coffee in the morning only. I don't drink it after 12 midday.
No, I'm not a coffee drinker, so I drink tea throughout the day. I drink a cup of tea in the morning. I drink one at 10. I drink one after lunch. I drink one at 4, and I drink one after.
Wonderful. I know Zambia produces a lot of tea, though, so it's home brewed, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the one I have, unfortunately, no, it's not. And I'm not going to say what country it's from.
Okay. It's all right. Cameroon produces tea too. Kenya produces tea. So, yes, we have toilet tea and do tea in Cameroon. So
you can't find it in the grocery stores here.
Yeah. You need to bring me some of that next time you go home, and I'll bring you some from home.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's Cameroon, right. Because some of us are not being able to go home.
Yes.
So that said, I'm not cutting you short, but there is this story from the Democratic Republic of Congo. It is a sad story. Local officials say at least 27 people have died after a passenger plane crashed into houses in the city of Goma in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The victims included 9 people from the same family who were in one of the houses hit in the Mapendo area. The small aircraft went down shortly after taking off from the city's airport this Sunday morning. The cause of the crash is still to be determined. The plane was carrying 17 passengers and 2 crew members. Air accidents are said to be common in the Democratic Republic of Congo, but why this one happened is still a problem. The Dornier 228 twin turboprop aircraft owned by private carrier Busy Bee crashed about a minute after takeoff, a source in the Goma area said. So that is the sad story from the Democratic Republic of Congo. And yeah, that is that. And there was this story I wanted to share last week. Well, it's not really a story, it's just something happening in Cameroon, where the government has invited the electorate to come to the polls on the 9th of February next year to elect their new parliamentarians and their new members of the city councils. So this is a situation in Cameroon. We know that there is a war going on in the western part of the country, the 2 English-speaking regions, but they are calling the electorate to come and vote. We don't know how that is going to happen. All the same, it's just news, so we share it and we don't comment on it. So that is that. But to wrap up our program on eating well and not getting fat during the holidays, or not gaining weight during the holidays, what is your last word, Sister Sylvia, on this topic for today? But next Sunday, remember, we'll be continuing.
Yes. Well, my advice, like I said, is portion control. You have all day, all night, and 5 days later to still eat the same food. Don't sit there and stuff yourself and become like a porky pig or beach whale where you can't get up and enjoy your family. I'll take Reverend Pam's advice too. When I eat, I'll make sure I dance my behind off so that some of it can drop off. You know, the behind can drop off and the top also can drop off. Maybe I can become a figure 8 by function. So,
I like your honesty. I like your honesty. Okay.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. May God bless
Happy
us.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Reverend Pam, your last word on the topic.
This is my savior. I thank God for bringing you on board because we needed you in the show. You don't know how many people you have blessed. You know, Thanksgiving is coming, and when you eat, please don't waste food. There are a lot of people who are starving, both back home and in this country. There are people begging on the streets, even on Thanksgiving Day. So please, food. Don't eat more than your stomach can handle. Once you're full, your stomach will start telling you, you know, but make some time to thank the Lord for even being able to eat. There are people that are in the hospital, they can't even use their mouth to eat. So let's use this time to thank people. And again, we're going to be sharing some Thanksgiving recipes. Niason.
Thank you also very much. There was Dr. B. Tazong, who was on the first part of the program. There's been Sylvia, there's been Reverend Pam. My name is Asonglefan Kemleke, and please make it a date with us next Sunday. But during the week, weigh in on this topic, Thanksgiving, giving thanks, eating right, losing weight. Thank you all so very much, and see you again during the week and next Sunday. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks.